Tonight, law enforcement makes an arrest in a murder case that's gone unsolved for more than 9 years. Plus,
it's a first day of school like no other. I'm Zach Shermley here in Centerville with the changes you'll see this semester.
And later, the mystery continues, but we are getting some answers from the Department of Agriculture. The latest on seeds from China.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Thanks for making MTN a part of your night. I'm Tim McGonigal. First at 10, the Lewis and Clark County Sheriff's Office has announced an arrest in the long unsolved Helena area killing of John Mike Kreitz. Sheriff Leo Dutton says Leon Michael Ford was arrested this morning in Oak Harbor, Washington, charged with deliberate homicide and tampering with evidence. Kreitz went missing in June of 2011. His dismembered remains were discovered near McDonald Pass months later. Kreitz lived in the Turk Road area north of Birdseye. Dutton said Ford had owned a nearby property. While the investigation took years to reach this point, Dutton says he never considered the case cold.
We never gave up. We continued to work leads. We continued to work where we had evidence, and there's been a lot of people, a lot of cooperation to make this happen today.
Now, Ford is set to be arraigned in a Washington state court tomorrow afternoon. Dutton said they will seek to bring him back in the coming days to face charges in Lewis and Clark County. Well, checking Montana's daily coronavirus numbers, the state reporting 111 new cases today. Montana closing in on 6,000 confirmed cases. Yellowstone is the big one with 56 new cases being reported today. Just one new case in Cascade County, which brings the active case total to 44. There have been 3 new cases in Lewis and Clark County, which has 65 active cases. More than 1,400 cases are active statewide, and just over 100 people remain hospitalized. City County Health Department officials in Great Falls spoke to MTN News after concerns arose from the community about businesses who aren't enforcing the governor's mask mandate. They say officials have not punished or threatened punitive action against any establishment, but they have spoken to numerous businesses reported for non-compliance. The department receives a handful of calls about mask policies at businesses every day. CCHD Health Officer Tricia Gardner said so far, most owners they've called simply needed more information about best practices. County Attorney Josh Rackey says his office has also provided clarification to business owners on what they can and can't ask of customers under the mask directive.
You don't want to ask them what their health condition is, but say, hey, this is my business. I prefer to people wear masks. And if the person says, oh, I have a health condition, then fine. Then they don't have to wear a mask.
Rackey says business owners do bear some responsibility when it comes to enforcing the governor's order, but officers also say language in that mandate is vague about how far the responsibility goes. We have more on this story on our websites. Well, the Montana Department of Labor and Industry has announced that the United States Federal Emergency Management Administration, or FEMA, has approved Montana's application for the Lost Wages Assistance Payments Grant. The grant allows the department to give an additional $400 per week to those receiving unemployment benefits. $300 will come from FEMA. The other $100 will come from Montana's CARES Act Coronavirus Relief Fund. As of today, Montana is the 8th state to receive the FEMA grant and the only state to establish the weekly additional rate of $400. Assistance payments were scheduled to line up on August 1st of this year. Claimants will receive backdated payments from that week forward.
We're gonna work like heck to try to get this thing administered as quickly as possible. I'm just happy that we have that we can provide this for them. That's our mission here, is to get that out the door as soon as we can.
The additional unemployment could last until December 27th of this year. More than 200 lightning strikes were recorded across Lolo National Forest last night and early this morning, and rainfall varied. Lolo National Forest crews were actively responding and suppressing 3 new small lightning fires near Boyd Mountain on the Superior Ranger District, about 4 miles west of St. Regis, and 1 human start near Haugen. Engines and firefighters are on scene. 1 helicopter is conducting water bucket drops on these fires as needed. Fire managers are preparing for and remaining on high alert for potential new fires from the recent lightning strikes that may become active with drying and warmer conditions. Lightning is also blamed for sparking several wildfires on the Bitterroot National Forest. 5 lightning fires were reported Wednesday on the Stevensville Ranger District. 2 are located in Sweathouse Creek, 1 in Big Creek, 1 in Sheafman Creek, and another in Cow Creek. Forest officials note that all 5 fires are reported to be at least a half acre or less. And in national news, California's governor has declared a state of emergency as more than 350 wildfires are burning across that state, including 23 major ones. High winds, triple-digit temperatures, and thousands of lightning strikes are helping to fuel the flames. An out-of-control wildfire is tearing through Vacaville, a city located between San Francisco and Sacramento. The fire incinerated at least 50 homes and other structures. So far this year, California has recorded about 2,700 more wildfires compared to this time last year. Well, some Montanans could see some much-needed rain tonight. Our Storm Tracker weather team is here to tell us more. And for the latest, we send it over to Grant Garland. Hi, Grant.
Hi, Tim. Hope everybody is doing all right tonight. We are looking at a few rain showers out and about, which we desperately need. And we've seen a little bit of rain today, but we are expecting to see a little bit more as we head throughout the night into tomorrow. Going ahead, taking a look right now, we are seeing this shower south of Winston as well as around Townsend. Also in Boulder, seeing a few showers that are making their way out to you. Overall, though, today we are still desperately needing that rain. Only 400ths of an inch of rain fell in the capital city. Out towards Missoula, though, you guys got lucky. Almost 3/10 of an inch of rain. Now, tomorrow, as we head throughout the day, we are going to be looking at a better chance for showers and thunderstorms, which some could become severe. There's a low chance for an isolated one, but damaging wind gusts as well as small hail and lightning will be the main threats. Temperatures right now 70 degrees in Great Falls, 67 in Havre, and 75 in Helena. And our winds are calm for the most part, at least out in Lewistown as well as Jordan. Later in the show, we're going to talk about how much rain we could possibly see tomorrow. But for now, back to you.
All right, thanks, Grant. Well, the first day of school has come and gone at Centerville and Cascade Public Schools. It's a year unlike any other, with rural school districts especially challenged. MTN's Zach Shermley followed one family in Centerville to see how they're coping with the changes.
After a long summer, they were up bright and early, teeth brushed, lunches packed, a quick breakfast, and it was out the door for Ellie and Lyle Grossman's first day of school. That's pretty much where their normal back-to-school routine ended. At the front door to the Centerville Public School building, Superintendent John McGee mandated
temperature checks
and social distancing tape 6 feet apart.
I'm a little bit nervous.
It was enough to put the Grossmans a little on edge.
I'm nervous about the virus.
Still, they were excited to meet their new teachers.
I know my teacher now.
His name is Mr. O'Neill, and he's a boy, which I really like.
And catch up with old friends.
I really missed them.
I'm most excited to see my friends.
See your friends? Did you miss them over the summer?
Yes.
It's a different school year for sure.
Face coverings are now mandatory in Centerville Public Schools, so is hand sanitizer and using separate entrances. At a meeting in early August, the Centerville Public School Board decided to use a block schedule for older students and to limit large gatherings of the younger ones. Cascade also opened its schools Wednesday with similar requirements for face masks and social distancing. In both Centerville and Cascade schools, though, similar worries. This building alone houses K-12 students from Stockett, San Cooley, Tracy, and Centerville. Despite the changes, parents and district officials tell MTN they are happy to be back and thankful for the safety protocols because transitioning to online learning last semester as a rural community was tough.
School is really, a social part of a small community. And so when the kids arrive, they're our lifeblood. They're the things that breathe life into this building and this institution.
For a small school district with limited funding, it was almost an impossible job.
The funding, the federal government gave some stimulus money out to schools. We really couldn't have done a lot of the items that we needed to without it.
You know where we're headed to?
Nope.
All parents have a really hard decision to make right now, and no matter what their choice is or was, it's the right one.
If an outbreak comes in Centerville Public Schools or in Cascade, they will consult with the City County Health Department before closing down the building, hopefully a last resort. Reporting here in Centerville, I'm Zach Shermley, MTN News.
Last night, the Great Falls City Commission took action on an ordinance that would allow downtown Great Falls to circumvent the state law that prevents liquor licenses from being issued within 600 feet of a place of worship. The issue arose after the Calvary Church announced plans to open a location on 427 Central Avenue. The ordinance was approved by the zoning board, which added language that would include similar exclusions for casinos as well, but city staff recommended against that extra step.
With all due respect to the board, staff disagrees that the community desires additional flexibility for casinos. In fact, public sentiment is typically quite the opposite.
And the commission will take public comment and choose between two ordinances, one that includes casinos and one that doesn't, on September 15th. Also last night, an update on the joint proposal for an aquatics and recreation facility. This joint venture between the City of Great Falls and Malmstrom Air Force Base. Earlier this month, the Defense Community Infrastructure Program accepted the city's proposal and formally invited Great Falls to apply for a $10 million grant. Great Falls was one of 16 communities selected for the grant out of 109 applicants. Details are still being ironed out, but the city manager is confident the facility will soon be a reality.
Short of something disastrous occurring, we have a very high likelihood of getting this grant awarded. And so we just need to take it over the finish line and then we can have some celebration. So
the city will submit its final application by August 26th and receive final word from the Secretary of Defense by September 15th. It's not yet known where the facility will be located. Well, the virtual Democratic convention continued tonight with some of the biggest names in the party taking the stage. Included among the speakers were former First Lady Hillary Rodham Clinton, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, and former President Barack Obama. The speakers touched on a range of issues, including gun violence, immigration, climate change, and the economy. And the night also featured the acceptance speech of Vice Presidential nominee Senator Kamala Harris.
We have a chance to change the course of history. We're all in this fight. You, me, and Joe, together. What an awesome responsibility.
Tomorrow night, Vice President Joe Biden will accept his party's nomination for president. Republicans will be holding their convention starting Monday in Charlotte, North Carolina. Closer to home, it looks like Green Party candidates will remain off the ballot for Montana's 2020 general election. The Montana Supreme Court upheld a lower court order that said the 5 Green Party candidates should be removed from the November 3rd ballot because the petition that qualified them wasn't valid. A federal judge in Missoula also denied a separate request from Green Party candidates and voters to intervene. That means when the Secretary of State certifies the general election ballot tomorrow, there must be no Green Party candidates. The Green Party candidates were in races for U.S. Senate, U.S. House, Governor, Attorney General, and a state Senate seat in Missoula. While remaining profitable during a pandemic, it's one of the many topics Montana stock growers are talking about during their annual meeting. More from the conference next.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Welcome back. This week, the Montana Stock Growers Association is in Billings for the organization's mid-year meeting. The Montana Ag Network's Lane Nordlund has more from the event.
This week, stock grower members are working on policy issues ranging from water rights, regulation, taxes, and more. But the top issue on ranchers' minds is profitability in the cattle market during a pandemic.
These times are very tough. Expenses go up, and ranching, we have to have profit in it. And so we're happy to be working on that. There's a lot of ideas that we're looking at.
Those ideas include creating more price discovery and transparency in the marketplace. This is an issue all of Montana's elected officials have been working on in Washington, D.C.
We need to make sure we've got transparency and fairness in these markets, and that's why I've been pushing Secretary Perdue, Ag, as well as Attorney General Barr to begin these investigations of what's going on in the packing industry, because if there's one thing we're hearing over and over again, there's something that doesn't quite smell right with this pricing, and we need to make sure there's transparency and fairness in these cattle prices.
We need to get more processing capacity, and that's going to help us balance this concentration of power that we have. We're going to get to the bottom of that through our investigations, and if there's been criminal behavior, it needs to be punished. This is why I've called on an investigation from the Department of Justice. But we also need to help fix the problem ourselves. I was pleased. I was out in Miles City last week. They just started an apprenticeship program for training meat cutters we need to build our own capacity here in Montana as well.
Even with the ongoing pandemic, cattle producers were able to come together looking at the future of the industry by setting policy and discussing those issues that are very important to the livestock industry here in Montana. Reporting in Billings, Lane Nordlund, MTN News.
This evening, a follow-up to a story we first told you about last month. What are the mysterious seeds from China popping up in mailboxes across the country and right here in Montana? The USDA is working to identify the seeds. Officials say they've cataloged more than 140 plant species. So far, they found a mix of ornamental, fruit, vegetable, herb, and weed seeds. The seeds sent to Montana include corn, sunflowers, peas, and lentils. They might sound harmless, but officials still say don't plant them.
We don't know if some of them could be invasive or they could turn invasive from being in our climate habitat sort of thing. So it is highly recommended to these people that receive the seeds not to plant them, to send them to the USDA office so that they can be identified and taken care of that way.
Well, temperatures tonight, 60 degrees in Great Falls, 59 in Helena. Don't go away, your 7-day forecast is coming up next.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Grant Garland.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you have had a fantastic and pleasant Wednesday evening. We are one day closer to Friday. Now, we are looking at a few showers and thunderstorms, mainly staying, though, south of Lewistown right now. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on here. These showers, White Sulphur Springs, just south of there, southwest, north of Towson, and we're looking at just north of Clyde Park, too. We have only picked up 0.04 of an inch of rain here in Helena. Not really much to, to jump for joy about, but you know what? I am jumping for joy because we desperately need that rain and any rain that we can possibly get due to how dry we've been. And the good news is we're going to see our several chances of showers as we go throughout the night as well as tomorrow afternoon. Now, as far as what we can expect tomorrow, we are looking at the chance for an isolated severe thunderstorm possible for pretty much everyone in our viewing area. The main threats will be damaging wind gusts as well as small hail and lightning. That is possible, but hopefully we're just going to see a few rain showers. The reason why we're looking at all of this is because of this high pressure that is steering these currents, this moisture this way. And also the reason why we're seeing those colorful sunsets, well, it's because of the wildfires that have been burning in California that are being lofted up into the atmosphere and carried out to the Treasure State. So it is coming at a cost for us to see those beautiful sunsets. As far as we go throughout the night, we are looking at showers and thunderstorms possible around 1 a.m. as they make their way up towards Great Falls. Notice how right around 6 a.m. though, we pretty much are staying dry except for maybe a few specks here and there. Then right around after lunchtime, around 1:30, that's when we start to see showers really start to take off, and we're going to be looking at this kind of mass right here kind of grow as it heads on out towards Havre around 6 p.m. Looking at a few showers and thunderstorms south of Havre by around 8 p.m. It's getting intensity. It's also getting kind of size. By the time it gets to Glasgow, we could be looking at maybe an isolated severe thunderstorm or two, but everything is out of here by the time we get to midnight. We're going to be looking at the sun taking over for us on Friday. As far as what we possibly can expect in terms of rain totals, possibly just shy of 0.2 of an inch of rain for our friends in Helena, just shy of 1/10 of an inch of rain here in Great Falls. The same thing with Lewistown. Out towards Glasgow, though, as those thunderstorms push off towards you, could be looking at just over 1/10 of an inch for you guys there. As far as our driest time for tomorrow, well, it's going to be right around the 4 p.m. mark, around 4:30, 24% humidity. And for our friends in Helena, kind of the same situation, too. We're going to be looking at that right around 27% at 4 p.m. It is going to be a breezy day tomorrow, just like it was today. So heads up, 30 to 40 mile per hour winds are not going to be uncommon for those in Cut Bank as well as those in Havre. Right today, we did look at a high of around 87 degrees in Helena, 81 in Great Falls, and typically we see 82-degree temperatures here in the Electric City. Record was set back in 1942 when it was 97 degrees, also the year that war bonds started to help World War II. For the U.S., 75 in Helena, 70 in Great Falls, and our wind speeds, again, it was a very blustery day, 36 mile per hour winds in Great Falls. Tonight, temperatures falling down to 60 in Great Falls as well as Lewistown. We will warm up to 91 in Great Falls tomorrow and 90 in Helena, 88 in Lewistown. As far as the next 3 days are concerned, we are looking at temperatures staying right around the 90s with plenty of sun And then also for our friends in Helena, we're going to be looking at the same situation where we're looking at sunny skies pretty much after tomorrow. Tim?
Thanks, Grant. The Bison are finally taking the field. Coming up, a preview of their 2020 football season.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Great Falls High started football practice today, and MTN's Isaiah Dunk was at Memorial Stadium to check in with the Bison.
While practice could have started last week, the Great Falls High Bison are finally on the field to start the 2020 football season. Now, with Class AA not beginning games until the second week of September, head coach Mark Sampson says the later start on practice isn't a big deal.
We're not going to grind them to death. We're going to work them hard. We're really good at setting our practice schedules up. Some coaches start on Monday, but they're not going to be practicing 6 days a week for 4 weeks. You can't do that with high school kids. So we're going to pick and choose when we can lighten up a little bit, maybe give them a day off here and there.
That's not to say the Bison are taking it easy. Last season, they saw several close losses against quality teams in a first-round playoff exit. Great Falls has the athletes to get over the hump this year, but with a short schedule and 0 non-conference games, there's no time to mess around.
And as I told people all summer, I have kids this year that are as good as anybody in the state of Montana at certain positions. And everyone in the state can say that. Now it's just a matter, don't make a lot of mistakes. We got to stay healthy. Game 1's going to mean just as much to us now as Game 7 because they're all conference. So from day 1, we're going to be fighting for position for playoffs.
The Bison will rely on some young talent at key positions, like sophomore Reed Harris at quarterback. But the upperclassmen are confident.
And we got 3.5 weeks longer than we've had for our first game, and so I think our younger classmen should be fine. They'll have a little jitters first game, it always happens, but they just gotta play.
In Great Falls, Isaiah Dunk, MTN Sports.
And we'll have a final check of your forecast right after this.
Well, tonight temperatures falling down to 60 degrees in both Great Falls and Lewistown, as well as up towards Havre. Tomorrow, warming up to right around 91 in Great Falls, 96 in Havre, and 91 in Hayes. As we go throughout the next couple of days, know that we are looking at a 40% chance of isolated thunderstorms tomorrow, 91 degrees again before sunny skies take over. And that's really the same situation for our friends in Helena, too. Looking at scattered thunderstorms tomorrow, sunny skies on Friday.
Well, finally, Grant, this may look like a scene from Montana in February. This is actually Argentina in August. It's called a polar wave, anticipated by the National Meteorological Service. It began today. Snowfall in a high mountain area, and it won't be long till it's like that here in Montana.
I'm ready though to get my skis out. I've never skied in Montana, so that would be fun to do. But
also, one correction, the name of the Democratic vice presidential nominee is Kamala Harris. I apologize for mispronouncing that earlier. Have a great night.